Today's episode is presented by Lodestar, the fee experts.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Lending Leaders. This is the summer of SettleWise, sponsored by SettleWise.
Correct.
Very exciting stuff. I'm Alayna Gardner, AMP. Jim won't let me forget it. And I'm joined with Jim Paolino, our CEO and co-founder today, to talk a little bit more about SettleWise and kind of the decision to start talking about it publicly. And everything else.
Yeah, we've been kind of taking you through our three-phase process of starting a title company. Phase one, proof of concept. Phase two, launching a brand and announcing that brand, which we're kind of in the middle of. Last episode, we were talking about how do we start that brand? How do we make the decisions around it? So now we have that brand and we can actually start selling as SettleWise. How do we do that? So that started around January, where we did make a hire for SettleWise, Shauna Protzman, who's our phenomenal operations manager, and she will be
with us next episode.
Yeah, she's coming on next episode. Whether she knows it or not, actually, I'm not sure if she's gotten the heads up yet. Okay, good. And then we started selling, really. So what we did is we started announcing this to clients after the first of the year. We started quoting SettleWise on certain transactions. One of the things that SettleWise allows us to do, too, is it kind of changes the way we can get Lodestar's products in the hands of people. So this allows us to basically offer a free version of Lodestar, which we thought is really important in this market. So lenders, brokers, folks are able to use Lodestar's fee quoting engine at no cost with the national coverage of SettleWise attached to it.
Yeah.
We could have mentioned that in earlier episodes, but that's okay. We'll mention it now.
Yeah. And so Lodestar Discovery, just to kind of, I want to highlight what LOS is that's available on quickly, is Encompass, Path, Lending Pad, and we do have an API available as well for select users. But yeah, if you're on a different LOS and it's something you want and we can see enough demand, we'll look at it and see if it's something we want to do. But those are the three that we kind of had good relationships with and really felt that our integration could easily support the onboarding, the self-onboarding of users.
So it started to give us an area of people quoting our fees, potential clients. Same with existing Lodestar clients. When they need coverage, they need the support of a national title agency. So that was kind of where we were starting off. And I remember when I started Lodestar 11 years ago now, it took, I think, at least 8 or 9 months to get our first client. I think we got there in about 5 weeks this time. So I was really excited. There was just kind of that relief in early February when that first deal came through. And we've since then just been able to grow on that. And to start, we were kind of quiet was probably a right word because we weren't sure how close we were going to market SettleWise to Lodestar. And we were starting to market to our clients. Obviously, that's really our core customer base for this service is existing Lodestar clients. So what we were doing is we were marketing to that group. To further complicate things during this time, my wife and I were about to have our second child, our daughter Alice, who was born in early March. So this was all happening knowing I was going to be out for a period of time when she was born. So that was kind of like a point in time where we're like, how do we keep this going for a few weeks? How do we keep this all going? Who's going to be selling this? How is that going? And I think one of the things that I found during that time when I was out is really enough, I read quite a bit actually because babies sleep a lot. There was definitely downtime. The Lodestar team's fantastic. So I wasn't really worried about Lodestar work. So, when Alice was sleeping in the middle of the day or something like that, I was reading, I was getting a lot of ideas that I was coming back with. Despite the Lodestar team, I gave them a lot of reading homework and other things. $1 Million Leads and $1 Million Offers were the two books that I really enjoyed during this time. So that kind of was able to get me to ideate, and I think also made us realize that we have to tie this as close together as possible. Our Lodestar core values are clarity, connectivity, and community, and I don't think we would really be true to ourselves if we weren't announcing it. There was always a concern. We partner with title agents. We have 3,000 title agents set up in our system as a consumer base that we've had customers in over the years. So it is something, there were concerns there. It's also an industry where the idea of co-opetition, both competing and cooperating with people at the same time, is really common. You're competing with an underwriter, but you're using an underwriter. It's not really something that blinks an eye. We really just kind of wanted to operate from a platform of abundance where we're not trying to take business away from anyone. We're here to serve clients in the way that it makes sense. And we know it's not going to make sense for everyone, or even for given clients for all of their business. So it got us really comfortable announcing it. I think it was early April, mid-April, when I came back, where I said, okay, we're going to be announcing this in 2 weeks. We're finishing up the website. We're making this getting this going. I think we got 10,000 plus views on that post, and kind of fell off to the races after that.
Yeah. And I think one of the interesting things has been trying to figure out what content to create as a title company. Because there's a lot of title content out there already, and how do you become different? So one of the things you're going to start to see from us, and if this is something you're interested in, please sign up for our newsletters, is a new newsletter that we're going to build called the TGIF. It's coming out in August. So right around the time this episode airs, what weekly session is going to come out. It's going to have a different version. We're going to have, we're expanding the Tale of Two Mortgages world. With a little bit more on the side of edutainment. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. It's like fun education.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so we're going to have some lovely sea creatures going through some perils of what happens when you don't have title insurance. What can happen in those situations?
Yeah.
And I think it's really been fun to explore and play with a new brand colors. We're really a fan of Cobalt and Coral are the SettleWise colors, and they've been just so fun and unique to play with compared, we've been playing with the Lodestar brand for 3 years. We've got established boundaries and all of that, but being able to create that again, I forgot how fun it is. Yeah.
And it's definitely, there's a different speed. There's a different kind of high that you get when you're doing this in the beginning, because things are more exciting when they work out well too, and probably more frustrating when they don't in some ways. But we're at a point where Lodestar is very established and doing very well, so it's allowing us to kind of launch this, and it's been, I think, a great creative outlet to do all of this as well. And it's definitely, for me, just showing when you're launching a company a second time around the advantages that you have. You still have kind of the cycle of try to sell, get rejected, change some things, success. But it all happens a lot faster, right? I had mentioned the first sale, instead of taking 8-9 months, it took 5 weeks, right? So hopefully time 3, it'll be even faster. But it just shows that, the cycle of things is definitely improving. So we were, did the launch, kind of making noise about this, driving traffic, and that's kind of where we still are right now. In terms of doing that in the summer, the idea of talking about SettleWise is kind of a behind the scenes, why we did this, what it looks like. For the summer session came up around that time. So we're working on that right now, obviously, if you're listening to this. And it's, been good.
Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing a lot of really great feedback from our clients that, I think a huge piece of this is being one point of contact for our clients when, we've always kind of said, if you're doing business in a state that you're not really familiar in and you will need to disclose closing costs, like that's always been a huge piece of our conversation. And now to say to them, hey, we know you're not familiar in this area. Not only should you can disclose with closing with Lodestar, but you can also close with SettleWise and have that one point of contact. And I think that's really resonated with our clients is, sometimes you're doing one loan in a weird state and you just want to deal with people and trust.
And don't just settle.
SettleWise.
We didn't say that last time.
And I think that's one of the things that is definitely been fun and cool to see and talk to clients about when I'm on the road and all of that.
It gives us another thing to talk about. I think it also, what I'm excited about going forward is we're going from an industry in Lodestar where there's only under a handful of competitors doing what we do in the software side with our technology. Title is not like that. Title is tens of thousands of title companies out there. So what do we do to differentiate ourselves? And I think going through the process of putting the Lodestar take on it, figuring out with our position in the transaction, with our technology, with kind of how we approach doing business as a technology company, what does that look like as a title company has been the exciting thing. And I think that's why we're doing this, and that's how we can differentiate it. Because if we thought we were just going to be a title company like everyone else, we wouldn't be doing this in quite the same way. So we want to make it different. I think something that fits the times that we're in, as we've mentioned in previous episodes in this series. And, just something we continue to iterate and then kind of see what works and keep moving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Great.
That's episode 3, guys. Next week we'll be with Shauna Protzman, the ops side of our title organization. And then we have a couple more episodes. We'll hopefully be getting Dave on board to talk a little bit about his side of things as well, because he was obviously a part of this decision.
He's been pushing me for a while, actually.
It was actually Dave's idea this whole time.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks, everyone.